Hey guys, AB here from B&H, and today we are taking a look at Sony's UWP-D wireless microphone system. Fortunately, we have been joined by Andy from Sony. Welcome.
Hey, AB, how are you?
I'm great, thanks for coming down. So why don't we just start off with a basic overview of the wireless system?
Great idea. First thing I'd like to say is that sound has always been really important in the Sony landscape. Most recently, we had our UWP-D series. The D stands for Digital Signal Processing, DSP. And that's really important because a lot of wireless uses companding schemes, which is to simply say that when you have this really fine signal at your transmitter with all this, frequency response and dynamic range and all that stuff, that an efficient way to send it to, through the air is to turn it into an FM station.
Right.
But basically compress it at the last stage. So it goes through, it uses up, less spectrum, so on and so forth. But at the receiver, then you get to re-expand it. As a result, you don't get a perfect mirror image of your compression and your expansion at the receiver. And you get potential audible artifacts as a result. Right. In the UWP-D series, that DSP means that we now do that companding scheme mathematically with algorithms. So when your microphone comes into a transmitter, we go through a mic pre, but then we put it through an A to D converter. We turn it into a bit stream. Sure. And then we can apply the algorithm, the math, and then turn it back into analog with a D to A converter, make it into an FM station, and send it, and then we do again an A to D converter and a D to A converter in the receiver. And you get exact mathematical mirror image, so the companding scheme is really, really good. Things like transient response, those sharp sounds that give us a sense of reality, make things sound real to us. This is the new body pack and the new portable receiver. Some of the features that we've always felt were important, and this is in all the UWP-D, or all the UWP actually, is reception quality. If you're a wedding videographer, do you take to be your lawfully wedded?
Right.
And they watch their video every year, on their anniversary. You've just ruined their life over and over again. Right. So part of the challenge with wireless is that you can get these dropouts that are caused by multipath interference. The way to solve that is with what's called diversity reception. And there are three common ways of doing diversity reception, but what we do is the absolute, what we feel is the best way. It's called true double tuner diversity. That means inside of this one small package, we've got two complete tuner sections. They're both tuned to this frequency. They're both looking for the exact same thing. Right. And each tuner has its own antenna. And then there's a little comparator circuit between the two that is constantly going, hey, are you better? Are you better? Are you better? Are you better? And it hops back and forth. There's actually on the meter, there's a little A and B vertical bar, and that shows the signal strength. And it switches absolutely noiselessly, which is a great thing. That brings up a unique situation with our UWP-D wireless, which is the way that we're able to connect a receiver to a camera. We actually have on our cameras, on many of our cameras, an intelligent hot shoe. It's not just a dumb click it in hot shoe. Right. There's a boatload of little pins in there, and those pins are actually duplicated on this little device, which is called a multi-interface, or MI shoe. Sure. You take this, you attach it to the receiver, you take the whole thing, you attach it to the camera, and audio actually runs from the receiver down through the shoe directly into the camera. Even if it's a dual channel receiver, which we also make one of, right. Both channels go down through. And in many circumstances, with cameras that have nice sized batteries, you can get even great battery life by not even putting batteries in this receiver, double A's. You can just power this whole thing right off your camera's battery.
That was great. So
that's great. So anyway, that's MI shoe integration. In this new series though, we have taken things another step further. First thing, we wanted to make them smaller. And we have reduced the size and reduced the length of the receiver. And even in our new little plug-on transmitter, we've made that like a whole bunch smaller even. But I would say that one of the most important features that we added to this new series is NFC pairing. Wireless microphones in this range want to be able to go out and scan for the quietest available frequency. And in many times, you may not just have one or two microphones that you need. You may have several actors on a set or whatever. And you need to come up with compatible frequencies for each of their wireless systems so that they don't kind of impact each other. And so being able to scan and to know what frequencies are available at that place and at that time and in that city, so to speak, because it's all different, is a really critical thing to do. There's just a dedicated NFC SYNC or scan button right on the top panel. Hold it down for about 2 to 3 seconds. It starts scanning in about 15, 16 seconds. It scanned the entire range and it said, this is your quietest frequency. And the OLED screen that we've now gone to will start flashing black, white, and you know it's finished its scan. And it's got an NFC logo, and on the transmitter it's got an NFC logo. You just hold the two next to each other, and via NFC, the transmitter will now vibrate, letting you know that it's got the new frequency, and you're done.
And that's what customers want. They want an easy way to get their signals synced so that they can get to shooting without doing super dives into menus and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So speaking of audio, you need to be able to monitor that when you're using a system. So this has a monitor mode.
Our receivers, our portable receivers, not only have an output jack, but they also have a headphone jack. We realize that a lot of times people need to monitor audio. Let's take, for example, a film set, a camera set, a location sound set, or whatever. You can now use these as monitoring devices. The director can wear one on his belt clip, Video Village, the logging people, whoever needs to hear can have their own receiver. But a lot of times, as sound levels change, you want to be able to adjust the volume. So monitor mode, when you're on that menu, it stays in that mode and it stays open. So just by reaching down and hitting the plus minus button, that's your volume control.
Wow, okay.
And your fingers learn where that is. It's right on the side, and they just go there, plus minus, plus minus. And you have to intentionally leave that sub-menu.
Right.
And those frequencies of this system can be well coordinated with all the Talents microphones that are out there to make sure that it's all working properly. So, I may have mentioned that this has a very wide tunable bandwidth. We're all kind of in this range operating in unused UHF TV channel spectrum. But this series, UWP-D, we offer in 2 different blocks, so to speak, 2 different frequency blocks, and actually a third one we'll talk on in a second. But one is called our 14 block. That goes from UHF TV channel 14 up through UHF TV channel 25. That's 72 megahertz of bandwidth. That allows this little guy to tune in to 2,772 different frequencies. We also offer a version called our 25 block, and that goes from UHF TV 25 up through 36. Additionally, we offer this series in the 941 to 960 band, which is way up high, and it was kind of unaffected by the Spectrum auction, but it's a licensed band, and some people are very interested in that, so we refer to that as our 90 block. So a lot of channels, a lot of compatibility. If you have multiple frequencies and multiple systems all in one location, all the information on how to set all of those frequencies to be compatible and to not mess with each other. It's all burned into the ROMs of the receiver, and it'll tell you how everything needs to be set so that they're all mathematically happy with one another.
Which is what you want.
Which is what you want. But you've got to make audio your friend. If it's not your friend and you're just going, I hope it works, it can bite you, and it can hurt.
That's right. This is your friend. This is your new friend right here.
But if you understand it and become its master, it can do wonders for you, and it can make your productions just sound gorgeous.
Absolutely. What about channel memory? What exactly is that all about?
Channel memory is a new feature that we've also added to this latest UWP-D series. I think it's a clever little feature. So let's talk about a common, easily understood application, like wedding videography.
Sure.
You've got this receiver mounted on your camera, and during the ceremony, the groom's wearing a body pack with a lav, and you hear all the vows up close and with all that, the meaning and all the emotion and all that stuff. But at the end of the ceremony, they go off.
Right.
They go get pictures taken with the photographer.
Right.
And they're gone for a half an hour, or whatever. Now, he's still wearing his transmitter, it's still powered on, but you're getting plenty of hours out of battery life, it's not an issue. But you now go into the reception area for hors d'oeuvres or whatever it is, and you pick up your handheld microphone and you start passing it around to all the guests. Say, hey, give some well wishes to the bride and groom.
Sure.
And you start, but that's set on a different frequency. You may scan again and set the handheld to match.
Right.
And now you're on a different frequency. And then a half an hour later or an hour later, the bride and groom show up and somebody says, and now for the first time as man and wife, let's welcome in, blah, blah, blah. Everybody roars and they do their first dance together. And you want to be listening to that body pack again on the groom because they're talking to each other up close dance. It's incredible stuff what they say to each other.
Sure.
But they're on a different frequency. They're on that first frequency. So memory is very similar to what we all now have on our TV remote controls. And now we've given a menu that when it stays on that menu, you just hit either the plus or minus button, it automatically goes to the alternate channel. Just hit the memory. If you've got a critical talent situation where you cannot lose them no matter what happens, even though this stuff is really so reliable in terms of signal integrity and the double tuner diversity, if it gives you peace of mind to put 2 body packs on a critical talent with 2 lavs, 1 on each frequency, if anything should happen, if somebody steps on your frequency, for example, bop to the other frequency, and you're back online almost instantaneously.
It's peace of mind.
It's peace of mind, yeah.
One thing I was going to say is a lot of our customers, whenever we do any first looks at products, particularly with audio, they always want to know, who is this for?
Absolutely. No one piece of technology is perfect for every application. Let's be honest about it.
Right.
But a good, solid, professional wireless system is a very valid investment, especially at the beginning of one's, career. So, obviously our recommendation is make your investment in audio, make it wisely, and try to do it, because dollars to dollars, the investment in video and in cameras is a lot more than audio. Don't discount how important audio is. Audio is the way humans kind of communicate.
Right. Well, that's it for our first look of the UWP-D new series. I want to thank Andy again for coming by.
Thank you, AB.
I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. This is AB, and I will see you next time.